Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Your Real Estate Show. I'm Rachel Williams. We've got another big show for you tonight. We're going to have a look through some of Launceston's key suburbs and see what's happening with prices across those. We're also going to look at why pre-approvals are proving extremely popular in the current finance market. And we bring you the latest instalment of that amazing property at Hawley. But first, after nearly 6 decades in operation, La Cantina truly is one of Launceston's iconic and traditional Italian restaurants, but it's looking for new custodians. Earlier this week, we visited the dining institution to take a look behind the scenes. Lovely.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Lovely. Thank you. Well, Nick, here at La Cantina having a coffee, the business is for sale. It's a bit of an end of an era for the family.
It is. Rachel, welcome La Cantina. You know, a fantastic opportunity. The Macri family have looked after locals and tourists alike at this space for quite some time, almost a couple of decades. And now it's being offered up to the market.
And we're sitting here in an empty, it's 100 seats, and normally it's just jam-packed full of fun and frivolity and real Italian fare, isn't it?
Absolutely, and I mean, this is the sort of space, it's a real business, you know, a 100-seat restaurant, they do pizza, they do homemade pasta and all those sort of great things that families love and can enjoy here in Launceston.
And tell me about how the process of selling this business is going to go with you.
Well, we're expecting that this business is going to suit somebody potentially from the mainland or local hospitality people who are looking to grow something or a family business. Go into and use the Tasmanian produce and enjoy the Launceston lifestyle. Anyone who wants to inquire on the business will call us directly and then we can provide them some information.
Tell us what's behind the scenes of the restaurant that customers normally don't see.
Yeah, well, the great thing about La Cantina is it's got a full working commercial kitchen. It comes with the pasta cookers and the big walk-in cool rooms, and they make pizza here as well, so it's got all its own pizza equipment. But one of the great things about La Cantina is we call it the fishnet because it's in the middle of the city and it picks up passers-by from, you know, George Street, Patterson Street and of course Brisbane Street.
What I love is that this place is so authentic and you just don't really see that much these days, do you?
That's right. I mean, of the places in Launceston, if you're looking for Italian, this is definitely a go-to for you.
But for someone perhaps wanting to modernise, is that they have the capacity to do that with this lease?
Absolutely. You know, with all businesses, people put in their own flair and have got their own ideas of how to do things, but it's just such a rock-solid basis. And you know, it's a turnkey business that's been running for a lot of years.
And all of the infrastructure and stock comes with it. Tell us about how the process works from a financial perspective.
So essentially it's a 285,000 plus stock. Buying a turnkey business is just such a great thing to do because it means you can build off the reputation that's already been there and it cash flows from the day you start. You know, as opposed to people starting something and then trying to build a reputation, this one's ready to go.
Okay, so a good deal in Launceston at the moment, given there's not really much around in this sort of space, is there?
A great deal, and for people who are moving from the mainland or potentially locals, you know, it's that Launceston lifestyle with a real business, so it's a fantastic offering.
Well, we can vouch for the coffee and we'll have to come back for some pizza and wine, I think, won't we?
100%.
Excellent. Thanks, Nick. Well, we're very excited to welcome MyState Bank on board as a sponsor of the show. So let's now go to our finance segment for the week. Tonight we welcome MyState Bank's Andrew Downey, the Area Manager for Home Lending. Welcome to you, Andrew, and thank you very much for joining us here on Your Real Estate Show and sponsoring us. Give us a little idea of what MyState Bank really is.
Yeah, and thanks, Rachel, and thanks to Harcourts for having us along. Well, MyState's one of Tasmania's biggest banks, and we're proud of that. And 1 in 4 Tasmanians actually bank with MyState. So something that we're truly Tasmanian, and will continue to be.
25%, that's pretty impressive figures indeed. Now, we know that interest rates are at absolutely record lows and borrowings at near record highs. Tell us actually what's happening in the banking sector from your opinion.
Yeah, so we're seeing a lot of clients split their loans, so taking fixed and variable, and by doing that, they're allowing themselves some security around fixing the rate in, and the variable component giving them some flexibility so they can pay extra off their loan if they want to. But yeah, changing times, and we've just got to keep up at MyState, that's for sure.
Absolutely. And so can people believe that rates are so low?
No, I mean, who would have thought 5 years ago that we'd be sitting here today talking about an interest rate at 2.5% or even 2%? So yeah, very low rates.
Now, one thing that a lot of people are doing to try and get ahead in this current climate is to get pre-approval. Tell me, what is so important about having that behind you?
Well, a pre-approval allows a customer some security around going to a property and knowing that they can put in a bid that they've had their pre-approval done through their local bank or their broker. What it also allows them to do is go up to that property price that they're actually expecting to go to and walk away, hopefully owning a property, Rachel. We've seen it, real estate agents holding open homes where there's 40 people turning up. So yeah, pre-approval is key to getting that next property.
And how do people go about actually doing that? Are there any dangers involved with it?
Not really. I suppose the only thing that everyone needs to be aware of is that going into doing a pre-approval and purchasing a property is that it is subject to evaluation. But we give them the comfort knowing that they can go up to a certain limit and knowing that they've got the approval.
And are you seeing valuations come in about what people are willing to pay at present, given that it's such a high market?
Oh yeah, and that's a great question. And what we're seeing is, yeah, valuations are coming in at purchase prices. So there is that security as well.
Yeah, that's great. Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for joining us, as I said, Andrew, and we look forward to plenty more MyState Bank top financial tips over the course of the season.
No, thanks, Rachel. Thanks for having us.
Thank you. That was Andrew Downey joining us there from MyState. Well, each week during the show, we take a look at a different region across Tasmania with thanks to homely.com.au. And tonight, it's Launceston's turn. Today I'm very happy to be joined by Harcourts Tasmania's Salesperson of the Year for the company, Jeremy Wilkinson. Welcome to you. We're going to talk about Launceston as a region. What's happening here? We've seen huge price increases.
The market's off its head. You know, it's off its head. But there's just such a shortage of stock. So people are they're fighting over things. We're getting sometimes 20 offers on one house, which is insaneness.
And as a region, it's been promoted as a place to come and live and invest with so much happening here infrastructure-wise. Are people relocating yet, or are we yet to see that influx?
We haven't seen it properly yet. Probably 70% of our inquiries, probably interstate inquiry, but they're not the ones truly buying it. They're still only probably 20% of the market, which is typically where it's always been.
Okay, so let's break down Launceston areas, because it has got a median house price across the city of $422,000. But let's look at East Launceston first. It's always a blue chip area, and we're seeing growth of over 31% over 2 years.
It's madness, isn't it? And it's got up to whatever it is, 630 or 640 or something. You wouldn't pick that, but everyone's chasing the good stuff at the moment. They're going, if we're going to buy something, let's get in the good areas, and that's where that stuff is coming up. It's coming up dramatically.
And why is East such a popular place?
You know, it's schools, coffee shops, trendy, you know, it's a place to be. Come on.
Or perhaps one growing area that I think is underrated and always has been is South Launceston. You can see the health developments there with the future co-location of the hospital. Median price there just $435,000.
Yep. It's so attractive to the younger ones, and you're seeing the younger ones coming in there, first home buyers, maybe a tinge of investors, more mature investors. It's a cool place to live, and you look at if you drive up the streets there, every second house is being renovated. So there's a real hum going on there, and that's what's cool about it.
And you can see a lot of potential for more that cafe culture to develop there as well, can't you? We're standing here in West Launceston, an area I think has always also been underrated for its proximity to the town. Perhaps not as much infrastructure in the area in terms of those cool cafes and shops, but it's still pretty affordable. It's up 35.6% over 2 years
And
though.
you would not have picked that. And that's, again, it's just the closest. It is the closeness to town, and it's only well, look at that. It's only a couple minute walk into the city. I don't know about coming home, but it's all right going there.
I can account for it's a long stroll up that hill, that's for sure. And Invermay, so much potential there as well. We've seen that grow up 28.3% to 340,000. Huge potential with that university relocation.
Absolutely. It wasn't that long ago where you could buy a house really easily for 200 grand in Invermay. Not an amazing house at that, but you could buy something and get in now. Literally, it's nearly 400 grand to buy something okay.
And
crazy.
These prices, are people still getting value for money, or it's just sign of the times?
It's just a sign of the times. The market's moving. We've finally had our move, and we're going to hopefully hang on to the coattails of Hobart and just go with the capital and not sort of do our Launceston plateau. Hopefully, we'll just keep. It won't be exponential. It won't be crazy growth, but it'll just follow the rest of the economy for once.
Thank you for that, Jeremy.
Thank you.
And we'll take a look at other areas around Launceston in the coming weeks. But now it's time to venture back to that amazing property at Hawley, where we're going to meet Lydia Maskiell to take a look through the next part of the award-winning house. Wow, talk about an impressive view in this beautiful open plan living space. Now, kitchen, Australian Kitchen of the Year for the HIA Awards last year. Tell us about some of the beautiful features.
Well, this kitchen's really quite special. We've actually started off with the concept of all this black detailing. So this steel detailing actually is a part of this footrest and actually forms this tea towel rail as well. So it's this beautiful little sophisticated detail that we've ran throughout the space. And as you can see, we've actually picked it up through the overheads, which really draw you through to the open shelving in the pantry space.
And you can see the beautiful azure blue water view. And then I love the selection of your splash black tiles.
Oh, they're amazing. So this green marble, again, it's a subtle way of picking up and referencing the island, but it's also drawing on the fact that the marble look bench top that you've got too. So it's beautiful, it's organic, and ties in nicely.
And again, this beautiful panelling with the bold black and thankfully non-fingerprint.
Absolutely. So this is the perfect backdrop. It keeps it sophisticated with a coastal vibe too, pairing it with your blacks and your touches of brass too. And it's a nice backdrop. It keeps the focus back on the view, which is nice.
And talk about an amazing view. And I just love that all the lighting and all the features, it's not overbearing, is it? The view's still the hero.
Absolutely, and I guess that's been the key focus, is to keep the view as the hero piece. And that's why we have done a lot of black, because it's a see-through colour and it's slimline too, so it's not hindering the spaces. A gyro focused fireplace that's suspended from the ceiling. Again, it's a beautiful sculptural piece on its own, but it's not hindering the view.
And no shears. You love your shears. What are you doing here with your curtains?
I know, because I guess it is all about the view, and it's electric operated blind, so it does, again, it's not hindering that view.
And also too, blending in with that really nice nook to sit on the bench seat, but the study nook as well.
Yes, absolutely. So I think, with an open plan living space, you do want it to feel integrated and a part of one another, but you also want to give it its separate identity. So, and that's exactly what we've done with the study nook. It's bringing in some of those same materials as the kitchen. It's wrapping around, but it does have its own little personality, which is nice.
Yeah, it's certainly a special property, and you'll have to be watching next week to take a look through the master bedroom and the award-winning ensuite. But that's all we have time for tonight. Thanks so much for joining us. Don't forget to tell your friends and family about our show, obviously available on Facebook and YouTube, with some snippets available on Instagram. That's all for now. Good night.